So the topic of this conversation is actually, can you make more money by yourself or as a wolf pack? So here we have wolves, tigers, lions, and sharks, and I actually know how startup guys call you, but what do you think about doing deals together? Would you regret doing a deal with one of the panelists, Bartek?
Right, I'll switch the microphone.
Now we have time to.
Got the switch. Yeah, it has here, right?
Yeah.
You know, we've got some examples, like we got a deal with Satus, with Jaromir, who is sitting here. My personal opinion is that we should do more of that, because the company gets money once, but it gets money once, but it doubles the contact and the things which are on the top of the money. Of course, it is tough in Poland when we don't trust each other.
Right.
And being absolutely fair. I think this is. Yeah, he promised that he will interfere, and he does that. So yeah, this is the man of trust. All right. So this is especially problem in Poland, that we don't trust each other. And if you look at some psychologists making research here, they're saying the major problem with our capitalism is lack of trust.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same here. I mean, sometimes the person will say, if we are to, I have to make the negotiations with the team, which takes a lot of time. Let's not involve another fund, because it's gonna take another month. So that's the issue. But of course, I support that, and we've got first good examples, I think.
Yeah. So for me, the answer is easy. Whether to co-invest or not, the answer for me is very easy. I don't know. I know that it's very popular in the United States, in Silicon Valley, etc. And for me, I always take an approach: test and measure, right? So we did it with Speed Up Group, with Bartek GOLA. We also did a co-investment with PIOTR, WILAM, and Marek with Innovation Nest. And let's find out how it's gonna work out. But there are some side effects of doing that, and this side effect is very significant. I met much closer, and I got in touch much closer with guys like Bartek, like Piotr, like the rest of you guys, and I really enjoy it, because I basically became a richer guy, richer in experience. So I like it.
I think. Yes, that's a good example. That's with Intel is possible to co-invest. No, I think it's a matter of the maturity of the industry, and I think the early stage funds in Poland are relatively young, and that's a matter of time. Because you have a lot of syndication going on with the banks. I mean, like, banks are providing loans to the companies, they are syndicating. I think a very good example is the leveraged buyout of Polkomtel by Solos. There was probably 15 financial institutions involved. You have examples of the later stage. There is ongoing lots of examples of the syndication outside of Poland. Like we have investment in Russia where there's 9 funds. Sometimes it's, be careful with going to the other direction, because then it's difficult really to decide what the company should do. With 9 funds, it's an alternative world. But I think we've been syndicating since 99 2000. I think the first one was with enterprise investors, and I think the key value which we see in syndication is like the second-hand controlling system. That's like especially in our case, we have a lot of investment, and we have like a double check. Yes, if there's another fund and something is going wrong with the company, we get a signal from our partner, and then we can better manage the risk of the investment. Of course, it's important that in syndication you need to find the value. You cannot syndicate with unqualified partners or investors which are not bringing complementary value to the investment. Yes, that's what we learned. And also, it's good to syndicate with people which really have money, because sometimes you can syndicate You can sign the investment agreement, and in the end of the day, there's a problem with delivering what was agreed. Yes.
Absolutely. As Intel Capital, I can say that our prerequisite at the investment committee is discussion on possible syndication. And I think Tomek is right that we are talking about size of investment that can be doubled, security of investment, and at the very end, the cooperation. So Intel has certain syndication partners that are pre-certified to cooperate with us and are joining us for various events that we do globally. I think Tomek and your team, they are one of our syndicate partners, and they have experienced a very good partnership with Intel. So it's not only syndication, but as well making money. We have done with MCI Kupi VIP, MOL, both were investments where we invited MCI. And on the other hand, we have had a couple of invites from MCI. And we did a couple of investments with enterprise investors. We are discussing right now investments with Bartek GOLA, with PIOTR, WILAM, and Marek Kapturkiewicz here. So, with Satus as well. With Chris, we have a long-term relationship. So, as a corporate venture, we are really into syndication of deals, and we like that, and we will continue doing so.
So I think everyone will tell, yes, we are open to syndication.
Right.
Devil lies in details, because I think that, for instance, for us, as a fund based on private money, it's much easier to invest in London with the private investors than in Poland, where the standard for taking equity is different. The decision process is longer. That's one hand. That's on one side the issue, but I think on the other hand, if we want to conquer international startup market, so to speak, we just finally have to syndicate together because we are investing much smaller amounts of money than the US firms are, so we can make up for it by adding our expertise. And if you would imagine a company funded by all the guys here sitting together, maybe early stage first, then later stage with MCI and Intel Capital, then it would increase chances, which are still very low, for a larger company. So we are very open. Also, I think that on our part, we did a lot to integrate the scene, because we brought some of the guys to the first startup weekend in Poland as judges and mentors when we organized that. We did P-Traily meetups where many people met for the first time, and I believe that some roots of syndication right now can be traced to that meetings. So we are very open, but still haven't done the first syndication yet.
In Poland. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Marcin from Protos Venture Capital. Like, I'm the founder and partner of the venture capital. We are a pretty new player on the market because we started like a year ago, and in fact we started from the model to co-invest like just from early beginning. And the fact is that the reason for that is that just before founding our venture capital, like I was a business angel. So being a business angel, it's pretty obvious that you have to co-invest because you're small and you have to like build a funding community to just be successful with the project. So for us, it was completely natural to start with co-investment and with partnerships. So out of 10 investments we have, like 8 of them we have with other partners, mainly with Point and Capital or Xavin. We also have one common investment with SpeedUp. So I'm definitely the fan of this model, because you can, on the one hand, you can share the risk, but also you can like gain common experience, transfer know-how, and we definitely see the benefits out of this. But the one thing which I would point out is that one side should be the lead investor. So the side that brings the lead should take more responsibility and can invite the other party as a partner, but I prefer the model that one side is like takes more responsibility for the deal.
Hello. I would like to start a bit earlier. I think that there must be an affinity between the company and the investor. So the company, not every investor is good for every company, and vice versa. So there should be some correspondence of goals, and also somehow of values. Recently I talked with a guy who has an open source project that, in my opinion, I mean, it's very strange that he got funding, but he simply really picked guys who earned money on open source projects. And he was very conscious which investors to approach. And once there is this affinity, there should be similar affinity between investors. So the investors should have similar goals and somehow similar outlook and similar what is going on. It is all the company decision after all, but to be with the similar goals, I think it is very important. And our experience is, of course, we should co-invest, and we should co-invest a lot, because it will give much more liquidity in the market, and it is basically a good direction, and it will lower the risk and so on and so on. On the other hand, our experience is that we invest usually we invest at the very early stage. And we found it, and it is what we learned, not what we assumed. We learned that it is better that at this very early stage that there should be one investor, because it is all such a roller coaster that if there are many investors, this entrepreneur, he either don't talk to investors at all, or he talks, the only thing he does, or he talks too much, simply. So long-term goal, I mean, entrepreneurs should be aware who is who, what are the goals of entrepreneurs. There should be much more liquidity on the market, on both sides, more entrepreneurs and more funds. So I would be happy if the funds, early stage funds from abroad would come to Poland. It would be good for the market after all. So to have liquidity, many funds, it is very good, because it creates the market, and there should be this co-investment. But also co-investment is possible when it is a long-term game, when the funds know that they will be on this market for the next 20 years, and if they play unfair, then they will have to pay for it later. That it is not a good thing to take advantage of either the entrepreneur or the other investor. So to make this reputation an important thing. So we should go in this direction, but it will go. I think that it will go slowly.
So you think it's still personal, very personal, that entrepreneur goes to a VC that he knows he wants to work with, or the other funds they cooperate because they have something in connection, like personally they like each other, or is it just money? Is it just business?
I mean, it's not about like each other.
Right.
So it's not this kind of sentiment, but it is simply affinity. It shouldn't be just about the money, but there should be the affinity of goals. The goals should be similar, because otherwise, with the company goes through through very difficult situations, and then there have to be tough decisions to be made, usually. And if there is the alignment on goals, then it will be, and usually investor has something to say when important, difficult decisions are made. So if the goals are similar, then it is easier to make a decision that will be good for the company.
Right. I can see Tomek Czechowicz wants to
I
say
partly
something.
disagree with Piotr. I give you the example. We are invested into Windel. This is a Munich-based European champion in a Zuzili diaper space. It's hopefully the 12th most IPO on London Stock Exchange, hopefully €500 million market cap. And when we co-invested, there was 4 investors. Yes, it was us, Polish fund, and there was a lot of ha that we are from Eastern Europe. Yes, there was a German, very old, fashionable fund, part of Buddha Group. Yes, you know Germans, they are. They've been the US fund managed by the Croatian guy, sometimes very serious, sometimes very funny. Yeah. And there was Italian fund, yes, the oldest internet investor in Europe, yes, the oldest internet investor. Italians are very, very nice people, yes, in the venture capital industry. And if you, there are lots of discussions going on in the supervisory, in the board meetings, and there are a lot of board meetings, yes, and the dynamics is very different, yes, and the common goals are managed by the instrument which you call majority drag, yes, that's basically majority of investors decide, yes. And I think there is a lot of value because we mostly disagree in the past, then we still disagree, and then Italians disagree versus Germans, we disagree versus British, we create coalitions. It's very much like European Union, yes. Yeah, but to be honest, I think
where is the Ukraine?
There's at this stage there is a demand from that part of the world to invest, of course, and we see that's why we're doing less and less in Germany because we think there's too much demand, supply of money. But no, but that's the reality, and I didn't thought that will be our best investment outside of Central Eastern Europe, but it seems to be the best investment outside of Central Eastern Europe, which we did right now, and that's one of the key values created by that. Is this value created by the different views and experience of different shareholders? Yes, that's for example, 360 is the investor which was backing YOX. YOX is a few billion euro large e-commerce play. DN Capital is in this Spotify and this Shazam, yes. They have very different experience, basically lots of discussions, lots of disagreements, sometimes people even stepping out, but finally find the conclusions.
But maybe the dynamics is better because there are 4 of you, and I haven't heard about the early stage deal in Poland with 4 funds.
No, and another lesson from that deal, that there was no one single early stage investor. There was like again about 20 private investors, a very good quality investors, to let's be honest. They are right now exited because there was round E, there was round A, round B, round C, round D, round E, yes, and before was a seed round, yes. And with this German perfectionism, we have round every year. Sometimes every half year.
Chris, you wanted something to say?
Yeah,
or
just commented that maybe the larger number of investors in the round makes the dynamics easier.
I think Piotr mentioned an important thing. If you have one and more investors, some of us are sometimes tend to be hard to deal with. So if you have more than one investor, then I think the CEO of the company or the board of the company or the founders of the company needs to be really strong, because otherwise it could be a huge problem that as Tomek told, of course there is a board meeting, but then one investor is calling the CEO saying maybe you should giving him advice, the other is giving him the other advice. So if you don't have a really strong CEO, you shouldn't take too many investors on board because it's going to ruin the company, I think. And there is one more thing I would mention, that what would really help in syndicating is putting some standards on the market. I mean, like I think Seedcamp tried to do something like that, like a single term sheet form or documents or something like that. Tried a little bit more to standardize that, just a little bit. And of course, at early stages, it should be standardized at round E. As Tomek mentioned, probably not, because it's another game. But I think it would make much more easier if we didn't have to. I'm sorry to say that.
No,
if you wouldn't have to spend that much money on lawyers.
No, it's okay.
Talking to each other and fighting for each other's rights. So few things could be more. We would need more German, approach. Like some things are standard and we don't discuss with them. That would help syndicating. But the very important thing, once again, what Piotr said, if you don't have a strong CEO, a really strong guy, who is able to survive the pressure from many investors, don't do it. I mean, that's a problem, because it's going to be nightmare for him, and probably it will ruin the company, because he will not be able to run it.
Yeah, I think Piotr and Bartek nailed the problem. Is something that I called too much IQ per square meter, right? When there is too many smart guys in the room, it never works.
Too much ego for square meter.
Okay, well, yeah, whatever. So I think it's solved on the micro funding level. We've got experience with business angels, and typically on the micro funding level, one of these or a group of these, there is a lead investor chosen, and sometimes it solves it all. Like on angel list, the syndication made a lot of the difference.
No, now Maciek and Piotr.
Just one comment from Intel Capital. I think we can agree with everything what the guys just said, but there is one thing for sure, that with every company, successful company, it comes a moment of the growth when they will need an investor that is international, that has ability to open doors for the customers, for the other investors, for another fundraising. They need an investor that understands technology, and they need an investor as well that has deep pockets, and that comes at the later stage of development, because what your guys discussing is the early stage. But successful companies will need strong investors and possibly syndicate of investors to back them up. And I'm always encouraging CEOs to carefully choose who they choose as their investors.
I would like to point to one more thing. It was mentioned, I think, by you, Bartek, the legal system and the way investors work. So recently I was participating in the closing of a round in the Valley, and I was simply shocked how it works. First thing is that the legal system is much more prepared for co-investors. The second thing is that there is the experience in the whole ecosystem is much bigger about certain instruments. And then and it's the point I want to make, is this: when there was a closing, there were 3 groups of lawyers sitting, and iterations went every 45 minutes. So something that would normally takes in Poland weeks. Sometimes where you have a closing, it takes days that people see it, and then there is a closing, and there it simply took 45 minutes. It's the recent version. What remarks do you have? Why that? And if they send you a version, they want the answer in an hour at most. Yeah. So it's this professionalism to make closing fast. It's amazing.
Marcin?
So I would like to have present you like a small comparison. Like in my experience, like the process of forming the team of founders is very similar, or should be very similar, of forming the team or group of investors. Yeah, like I have the feeling that when you start your project, you look for people you trust, you share the same vision. So it's this what Piotr said. So forming the team of investors should follow the same processes and the same mechanism as forming the team of founders. So I would say that it's pretty the similar process.
So, answering to you as a lawyer, yes, I am. You know, I'm truly on and standardizing the term sheet and the investment agreement as for the seed round. I mean, this should be standardized, and the negotiation should be pretty fast. And you should close pretty fast. The early stage. It's not a lot of money. But speaking of the next step, Maciek actually you pointed out that on the certain level you need a bigger friend, and this goes to my next question regarding you know, getting the next round with with the other fund. Like, you know, getting funding from other fund that is bigger or different than the previous one, and still, or being together or exiting. Do you have any experience in that?
I think the larger the next fund is, the easier it gets. Because I think, for instance, with Intel or with BARTLOMIEJ, where we have our experiences, those entities, they don't have to prove anything because they're already done, so to speak. Which means that they employed pretty standard mechanisms, pretty standard contracts. I think that the earlier we get in the food chain, the more ego exists, which needs to be proven, and it sometimes is a problem.
What we did recently with Marcin and one of our colleagues at Intel Capital here in Warsaw, we took all portfolio companies of you guys and other funds. I think we screened the whole ecosystem of funds. And I must say, this is really, in my opinion, a disastrous picture. If you look at the quality of investments that come out of the early stage development, they are really, you can count them on probably two hands, that, you know, the ones that are meaningful. The amount of money that has been injected into this has been enormous. And I fully support the view that you should support your CEOs, but I'm wondering, how can you do that if you have 70 portfolio companies and 3 people to manage that?
That's a tricky question. Someone is going to answer it.
Yeah, we are managing early stage, growth stage, expansion, buyout, and we did from 100,000 euro to 150 million euro in less than 10 years, so about 10 years, yes. You can make it if you do it right. You need some more portfolio experience, and that's it. And our failure rate was about 4% of money invested. Yeah? On 4% of money invested, we delivered negative return, and our biggest disappointment was the max investment. That was the standard, which was not, and that basically corresponds to about 50% of our negative IRR, yeah, in our history. Yeah, that was pretty low ratio of the unsuccessful deals. Yeah. Of course, we took much less global champion type of risk. Yes, that we've been mostly doing with the regional implementations versus the challenging the new business models or deploying the new global technologies, which I think is much more risky, and probably in this type of cases you fail in 80%. Yeah.
Okay, Piotr, I think you want to say no. You don't want to comment. Getting to the next round with or getting out from a startup and giving your people that you coached for a year or 2 or 3 or 5, getting to a bigger player.
Well, it is. I mean, we are. We position ourselves as early stage fund that participates in the round A. Mm-hmm. So we don't want to lead round A. So our attitude is that usually we start investment on our own, then the second seed we co-invest, and then we, but we are still a lead investor, and then we are just a co-investor.
Right. Right. So so we know that this is not personal. It's business. That's and you guys want to cooperate with each other. Marcin has something.
So it's as you said, it's not personal. It's about business, but apart from money, it's also about the skills and experience. Yeah? Because venture capital is not only cash, but it's also experience and the profile. Yeah? I have the impression that you can like different venture capitals have different profiles and different experience. So we like invite the certain partner with the certain experience, in example, in e-commerce or in software as a system, because we have the feeling that this partner will bring also the added value to the company. Yeah? So when looking for co-investors, we should look also for skills, yeah? And for experience.
Jarek, your opinion on getting deeper for the startup and growing and the next stage or the next series?
Yeah, so basically we at Status Venture have the structure, I think, to support it. We cooperate with 7 or more seed funds that take care about this early stage, and we are ready to put more money in from the VC perspective, from the VC level, when the product is ready. So I think we have one example of co-investment on an early stage, and the second example is on the VC stage. So we actually are trying to wet our fingers on both levels, and let's see what's going to come up with that. But getting back to the previous discussion about how to manage the structure of 80, 90, 200 companies in the portfolio with limited resources, that's a pretty interesting challenge, I would say. We kind of solved it with engaging people in a seed fund. In most of the seed funds, we didn't put our people in a management board. We took positions in a supervisory board as members, and from this perspective, we are managing the process of filtering out these rock stars that we want to invest from a VC level that later on.
Okay, so
I think luck is also very important, yes. Ask the question of Intel Capital CEO. He's a pretty successful investor, and what you believe is the most important competence to be successful investor? He said luck. Yeah.
Okay, so do you think that there is going to be more syndicate deals between, for example, you guys sitting here, and what about syndicating with? I know that Tomek is doing that, but do you think that on early stage you are going to have more syndicates with funds from other countries, like from, I don't know, Germany or Italy? What do you
This is a very good question, because that's a question about the future of early stage industry in Poland, because this industry was created by the KFK funding, and this KFK funding is going to end in the next 2 years. Sure. And the question is how much of these funds will survive and will become a commercial early stage. It's super difficult to run early stage fund. I was there, and I don't want to do it again, to be honest. Yes. And usually you have 1 or 2 early stage funds per country. In Poland you have 20. Yeah? And if you observe, there was like three momentum where you had 20. Yeah. It was usually connected with a bubble. Yeah,
yeah, you have KFK and 3-1.
Dropped down to 1, yes. That we have this cycle right now. That was 99, that was 2006 succession case. 2014 is around the same number. And normally in Europe it's super difficult to raise early stage commercial money. And I'm not sure what's the plans for the Polish government to continue with this sort of programs, yes? But I don't know the answer for that.
So KFK will cease to invest, but basically PARP already, so PARP is Polish Entrepreneurship Support Agency, already announced the support for syndication. So the simple answer is yes, it will be syndication because it will be heavily supported by European grants again. So if you would ask the question, are we going to have seed funds like 5 or 7 years ago, before the whole 3-1 frenzy started? Yes, the answer would be yes, because EU will fund this. So again, EU will fund syndication because it was recognized as one of the gaps on the market. More interesting question is about syndication with international funds. And I'm afraid that still we are not very attractive market in terms of the radars for majority of the funds. So it's easier to do the syndication in London, and it would be easier for us to encourage our entrepreneurs to basically register their legal vehicles as onshore UK vehicles. And it would be easier for us to co-invest there than to basically bring those guys here to co-invest with us here in Poland in Polish vehicles. In the legislation, they don't have clue about that.
Yeah. Bartek, any thoughts?
Yeah, I think there will be more syndications. As Tomek said, as the market gets more mature, we're going to have more syndications. Of course, we got some legal issues with foreign funds, as probably you know.
Yeah.
As most of us are supported by KFK, we are supposed to invest in Polish companies only, which, as Krzysztof said, sometimes it's very tough to convince anyone from the States. It's impossible.
Yeah, impossible.
Even from Germany, maybe. Point 9 is a special case because it has a Polish partner, but it's tough to convince, I don't know, London-based fund to invest in Polish company. That's why it's going to be tough for us, and I know that you, as a lawyer, has got a huge fight of how to, move the IP from Polish company invested by KFK into the States. So
that's true.
You know how tough it is.
Very, very tough. But Marcin is actually laughing because you did the syndication with Point 9, right? You guys did it, and what is your experience on the syndication with international fund in Poland?
Yeah, like the main reason to do this cooperation was the fact that Point 9 has great exposition for international expansion. Yeah, so we always try to invite a partner who has experience with international expansions for projects which, from the early beginning, need such support. Yeah, so with Point 9, that was the main reason. Also, like apart from the long story of personal relations. Yeah, and yeah, we are pretty happy with this, and we will definitely continue. Yeah.
Maciej?
Yeah, my only comment to this is, syndicated or not, please produce meaningful companies, meaningful businesses, and give us something to invest at a growth stage. That's my Intel Capital point of view. Otherwise, we will be searching in the region like we are doing in Czech Republic, in Hungary, in Russia, in Turkey. MCI knows all about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, Piotr.
So there are two options. One is that this ecosystem will develop in a healthy way, and there will be companies MACIEJ is waiting for. There will be not one but several early stage funds, and if it goes like that, then syndication will develop. I mean, people will find it that cooperating is better. And the other scenario is rather the black one. So There will be one fund, and it will have nobody to syndicate with.
Where do you see the sources of funding for the early stage funds? Like say when this KFK program will be over? Where do you see the sources of funding or fundraising for the early stage funds? Because to invest you need to have liquidity.
I mean, if
you need to raise money.
Yeah, we are in a cycle, and if it depends what will be the exits of these companies that are at the early stage now.
If we believe in MACIEJ judgment, that's not very optimistic scenario because
but
he's saying this is a low quality of early stage portfolio in Poland.
It's enough that there will be a couple of good companies. I mean, again, in the Silicon Valley, what I was told several times, listen, there is so much shit in the companies in the valley, and it is true. It's not everywhere there is this. I mean, I agree with Maciek, but it is always the champions, the leaders that set the agenda for the investors, for the LPs in the funds, and it is simply the question whether there will be one. Or there will be 10 very good companies that will grow from early stage, from the companies that are at the early stage now. If there are 10, then there will be LPs, there will be funds, and there will be a normal ecosystem.
I mean, the good example is Estonia. Every time I talk to early stage fund from Estonia, I hear one story. We are more or less we are managing money of somebody who earned money on Skype. I've talked to 3 early stage funds, and then they all do it. I mean, so first employees, some of the founders, and so I think what Piotr is telling that if we want to be able to create a success story, and this money will get to the will be back to the market. You're right. The early stage fund will be that because no one will want to invest it because the risk is too high and the returns are not justifying the risk. So that's the issue. I mean.
Okay, I think we have.
The message is that the early stage industry needs to produce 1 or 2 big hits, yes, and we need to syndicate to increase the probability of that.
Yeah, I think
otherwise we will die.
I think we have like 5 more minutes. Do we have any questions from the audience? Do you want to know anything about VC in Poland? Do you want to ask any tricky question? Marcin.
Guys, I'd like you to. Okay, I'll go here. Guys, if each of you can name 2 businesses that you believe. Okay, for others to hear. So, guys, if every one of you can name 2 businesses that you believe will generate some money back into the market from the early investments that are actually right now in Poland.
I won't do it. I won't do it because it's very deliberately. I mean, it's like asking a parents which kids you love more, and I won't do it because then I will not mention someone and I will offend them.
Krzysiek.
So I will not do it.
Krzysiek's gonna do it.
So basically, if we are asking ourselves what would be the first billion-dollar exit in Poland, we have to look at the companies which are already in the market. And if I would bet, and I'm objective here because I'm not the investor, it would be Estimate, honestly.
I think if we are talking really big, 1 billion, so the only company that comes to my mind right now is Integer with their APMs, so automated parcel machine.
They're sailing very close to the wind, as they say in London.
Yeah, I know, but you asked my pick. This is my pick. You have yours. So now I really think that this guy is impossible. You know, he always wants to sell his showroom to everybody. No, seriously.
Is it 10% off right now, Krzysztof? Is it? I'm sorry, Maciej. Is it still 10% off right now? Showroom? No, it's not.
They didn't sell anything. Basically, they're poor people in the audience. So.
Sorry, Maciej.
No, I think it has to be big, with big potential, with a great CEO, with enough resources to exactly not be, smeared like butter on a piece of toast. They just need to be big, and right now, if I look at it from the investor's perspective, this is possibility.
Yeah, I agree. I think, but I will name one or two more examples. I think Alior was a great value creation example. The company which was founded in 2007, 2008, which went IPO right now is $2 billion on the Warsaw Stock Exchange. One of the founding partners of Alior just joined MCI, and is my co-managing partner. That this sort of people, this sort of money are basically coming back to the private equity industry or venture capital industry. And I think Alior will support Alior, mBank case, and Getting case will support the development of the fintech industry. Yeah, I've been a little bit more skeptical about InPost Integer, but I'm more and more convinced that they have really high chance to build a really solid global champion success story. That they manage well all the ingredients of that process. And I think there is already one good example, which HTL, which was developed in Poland by the early stage funding, went public, was taken private by EQT, and hopefully right now is slowly getting to this $1 billion value creation objective, and this is the medtech space.
Right. Piotr, do you know any company?
So the question is to list the companies in our portfolio or in general in Poland?
In the world, right.
Pardon?
I don't care. It can be
Okay, so in Poland, I mean, Estimate is amazing. I mean, it is really a huge wave of disruption, and they are at the leading edge of this wave. They haven't made it yet, but they are in an amazing position. There are, I would like to mention, except of them, I would like to mention 4 companies in our portfolio that I'm a strong believer that they will make it. And it is UXPin, it is Entai, it is Flowbox, and it is CloudUK. I believe that all of these companies will make it. I don't know whether to $1 billion, but that they will be successful.
I think the example which I believe the most is Doc Planner, which is Polish znanylekarz.pl. It's in fact it's on a very early stage, and it's getting to the huge sector, so the health sector, which is one of the fundamentals of all economies. Yeah, but the only case is that. Is the issue if they are able to get to the public sector, because right now the product is for the private sector, but in long term it's possible that the public sector will be also opened for digitalization. Like we have like a new law to be introduced that all the documents should be digitalized. Yeah, so maybe the next step is also to have the software as a system installed in public sector, and so this would be a huge change. Yeah? So this company is able to get to the great level, but in a very long term.
Satus, any?
Yeah, so for my taste, I won't mention names because it would be unfair to, especially when talking about our portfolio. But obviously, the trend of Internet of Things is pretty hot. And I know 2 companies that are doing extremely well. So one of the is obviously Estimate, and I'm not sure if I should mention the other one, but it's something even way better than that.
Jaromir, come on, surely will be a great company.
Yeah, but it's like, like... Exactly, it's like telling your son that the other basically... competition between children. Okay, so the other trend, yeah. The other trend, which is you want to take the mic? Yeah, maybe it will be more interesting conversation. So the other trend that I see really interesting is mobile everything, basically. So we've got a couple of companies that do extremely well with mobile payments, for example. Not that you can pay with your mobile, but on the other hand, you can accept payments, so kind of Polish Square. Wearables, Internet of Things, and mobile everything, especially mobile payments, are my favorite things at the moment.
Okay, last question from audience. Titus?
But less provocative as Marcin's question. Yeah.
No more questions about you.
No more. No. I wish that everybody succeeds here because there's too much to lose. But well, I liked what Bartek said about building trust. So part of the trust building exercise, I wanted to ask if you could say one positive thing about one of your co-panelists on the panel. Wait.
But just one?
Wait. Well, I'm not sure. There's a lot of good things to say about Satus. Strengths and skills and things that you look up to for support. Thank you.
That is less provocative, Krzysztof.
I'm doing my best.
So you want to be entertained, yeah? That's what you're aiming at.
I mean,
Well, the people want to be entertained.
No,
Make it a bit softer.
okay, so
Marek wants to add something.
no, because
right?
I think it's there's a lot of talk about I don't want to take the mic, but as a law firm, we approached a lot of you about doing things together and doing like templates, and it was a year ago. Nothing happened. So maybe we could start from saying good things about ourselves.
Guys, let's move it to the drinks area.
Exit question.
Come on, last 5 minutes. Last 5 minutes.
I can answer for everybody, so I will say a positive thing about everybody. So I really like in what you do that you are real entrepreneurs building real companies turned VCs. It's amazing. Krzysiek, it's amazing what he did with promotion of entrepreneurship with the first startup weekends and with the first accelerator program in Poland. It was the mind-changing thing. Maciej, I mean, Intel Capital is an amazing company with such resources. It would be nicer if you find a bit some companies here to invest. But I had a co-investment with Intel Capital, and it is great. Tomek, it's amazing what you built over the last 10 or 15 years. I would better not count that. I remember Tomek when he was competing with Optimus, before the investment business, and then I am observing how his fund grows, and it is really great. Jaromir, the scope of what Satus is doing and the number of investments is really, really great. How Krzysiek Bełech somehow designed the whole thing. It is amazing structure. Bartek, you said you are new. You are not new in the VC industry. You said at your talk. You started to invest real money into real companies, and you make it with real passion and real understanding of VCs. So let's stop this panel at this moment.
And just adding about our host, he co-runs with provocative question origin Titus, the first in the Polish transatlantic legal shop, which is great.
Thank you guys. Thank you.